Can you tell me about your cancer journey? When did you learn that you first had cancer and what kind?
Yeah, so it was in May. I did a self-breast exam, which I don't actually usually do. I kind of had a, I don't know, prompting or premonition, I don't know, that urged me to do a self-breast exam, and I did it and I found a lump. And I called my doctor the next day, I think it was Monday the next day, and I called her and just said, hey, I just found this, should we get it checked out? And she said, yep, come on in. So, fast forward about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I had had multiple ultrasounds, mammograms, breast MRI, and a biopsy, and then it confirmed that I had invasive ductal carcinoma. Fortunately, I found it early. It was stage 1B. So that's kind of the process of how I found it, and got help, or got a doctor's appointment right away, because I was 39 and I hadn't had any mammograms at that point in my life yet. Once it was confirmed that I had invasive ductal carcinoma, I rapidly got an oncologist and a general surgeon who essentially said that because I found it early enough and it was small enough that they were able to do surgery first to remove the lump. I had a lumpectomy done, so they removed the area. They took out 4 lymph nodes because breast cancer primarily spreads through your lymph system, and usually through the lymph node closest to the cancer. And because my breast cancer was very close to my armpit, we were concerned obviously that it would maybe be spreading already. So I had the lumpectomy with the sentinel node biopsy, which was toward the middle of June of 2024. So it all kind of happened fast. It seemed slow at the time, but it really did happen pretty fast, with an excellent surgeon. And then, got the biopsy results from that, which officially confirmed what stage it was. And then from that point, because I am considered young for having breast cancer, usually breast cancer is in women who are postmenopausal, and being 39 when I was diagnosed, obviously I hadn't gone through menopause yet. So I talked with my oncologist, and she wanted to do some further testing. So I had some genetic testing to look for any of the BRCA1, BRCA2 genes that a lot of people are familiar with, or some other cancer genes. And then they also sent part of my biopsy sample off to a specialized area, I think it was in Colorado, I could be wrong on that, to essentially for them to look at the sample itself and give it what they call an oncotype score, which is something I had never heard of. And they scored my cancer itself and gave it a number ranged from 0 to 100. And my oncologist said, if your score is above 16, I'm going to recommend that you get chemo as well, because I'm 39 and I have kids and I'm young and I have a whole life to live, right? So I got, it took maybe 2 weeks after my surgery, maybe a little bit longer than that, to get that oncotype result back. And my score was 21. Yeah, so as you can imagine, I was really kind of devastated. She prepared me and said, most likely you'll need it. It will probably be higher than 16. So I kind of was mentally prepared. But when the news officially was that it's 21, I recommend you get chemotherapy. It was hard. It was hard for me, and my husband, my kids.
Yeah, that was going to be my other question. Is like, throughout this whole thing, how was this impact on your family? Because you've got a husband. You guys have 4 or 5 kids. We
have 5 kids altogether. Yeah, we're a blended family, and so I've got a now 18-year-old stepdaughter, 16-year-old stepdaughter, 14-year-old daughter, and then we have 2 boys together who are 9 and 7 now. So this was huge news, huge. Just saying the word cancer is scary. And then I had my grandma who died from breast cancer, and it brought back a lot of scary feelings. But we really wanted to be upfront with our kids, so that they like knew what to expect. So, okay, mom's gonna do chemotherapy. I'm gonna lose my hair. Like, this is what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna feel sick, but it's gonna be for a short time, and then I'm gonna start feeling better. And we're just gonna walk through this with them. And so we really try to have an emotionally safe place for our kids to talk about their feelings. And so we did that, and I like to think that they have done well through it all, and I've tried to be pretty optimistic. I mean, because they live here with me and they see me every day, so they see the ups and the downs. But I would say overall, I've felt optimistic that this is going to be a short time, and then I'm going to have this whole life to live. Like, we're doing this for just this chunk, and it seems big, and it is big, and we have all the feelings. We're going to get past this, and we're going to be moving into just regular life again. Yeah. So that's kind of what we've done to try to approach it.
Yeah, so my next question was going to be, you've been very open and vocal, sharing your cancer journey on social media with your friends. What made you decide to be so public with this journey?
Yeah, so I guess the biggest two reasons, I think. One, I felt like I'd rather it be out in the open than try to hide it, because I feel like trying to hide it would take a lot of effort that I just didn't have the emotional and mental capacity to do. I know that there are some women who, don't want people to know, and that's 100% like their prerogative. I just felt for me that I'm going to be bald for how long? I'm going to be, feeling crappy. I'm going to be missing work for 3 months. And rather than have people ask me questions, and, I just wanted it to be out there so that it was up front, and then I didn't have to feel like I was hiding anything or having to keep up an image. And then the second reason is because of how prevalent breast cancer is, and that younger and younger women are being diagnosed with breast cancer. My grandma died from breast cancer when I was 8 or 9, and so it really hits home that this is not something that was like far away. It was something that was in my family, and took somebody away that we loved and love. And so I think those were the kind of the big reasons why I wanted to kind of be out in the open with it and share my story, because other women are going to be going through this or are going through it. And since I was diagnosed in May, I know probably 3 or 4 other younger women who have recently been diagnosed with breast cancer. And that's just in my own circle of people I know. So I don't want it to become more prevalent. Nobody wants cancer to be out there or to get worse or more frequent, but it seems like that's happening. And so if more and more people are going to be facing it, we have to kind of normalize what to expect.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, personally watching, we're friends on Facebook, seeing that, it's refreshing. I guess refreshing is a weird word to use, but social media is so often so curated, and people are so choosy about what they actually share, and they only share a certain version of themselves. And it was really inspiring, I think, inspiring is a better word, to see you kind of bearing it all and sharing this journey of struggle a bit, but also with that inspirational kind of like pluck. Yeah. So kudos to you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of what I wanted to do is show like the real side of cancer and going through chemotherapy and then going through radiation. And so I wanted to also, like, here today, take off my wig, because I am wearing a wig, because I finished my chemotherapy at the beginning of October, and now I am 2 months past that. So I might have a little indent from my little wig cap, but this is what I look like. And not 100%, I'll be honest. I am wearing some makeup because I've lost my eyelashes and my eyebrows. And as a woman, it's hard. And I think if I had been younger, in my 20s, more insecure in who I am as a person, it would have been really devastating, just for that part of it. I've tried to really like embrace the fact that, hey, this is what I look like now. This is, you know, where I'm at right now. This is the reason why, and just, you know, kind of own it. Own who you are, own where you are in your journey in life, and then for my kids, you know, they're watching, and if they can see mom go through some crappy, you know, situation, and I mean, have all the feels, have times where I bawled my eyes out, have times where, you know, my kids nicknamed me Bald Eagle, you know, like, I mean, you have to have some fun with it or else you'll go crazy.
Oh, for sure.
So now I say I'm in my fuzzy chick stage, and it's so soft and fuzzy, and I mean, who knows, maybe it'll come out, you know, curly like some people do, and I mean, I definitely am anxious to go back to having hair and all those things, but you know, I guess coming back to being on social media and being upfront about it, you know, it's a hard thing, and a lot of people go through it, not just breast cancer. You know, because I'm an oncology nurse, so I work at the hospital in oncology, and was just recently certified as an oncology nurse back in April of 2023, so I haven't been oncology certified for very long, and then this happened. But gosh, like now I can really relate to my patients in a whole new way, whether or not they're facing leukemia or, you know, colon cancer or whatever it is, because it's scary. It changes your life, sometimes your whole entire life, or even at least for a season. And then I don't think that you ever go back to being quite as carefree as you were before. Like you think, oh, cancer's not going to happen to me, or if it does, it's going to be when I'm old, right? Well, no, like it happens tragically to young people, and young people die from it. And so that's the other thing, is I feel really fortunate, you know, that I found it at stage 1B. Got it taken care of. You know, I had to do chemo, radiation, and I have to do yearly mammograms. I have to take a monthly injection for 5 years, and then a daily pill for 5 years to essentially put me into menopause, because my cancer was a hormone-driven. So there's all kinds of different types of breast cancer. So, I mean, there's all those things that I still kind of have to do on a daily basis or monthly basis, but you know, hopefully in the end it's going to be all worth it when I think about the people who didn't have the opportunity, or they didn't catch it early enough, and really, like, I just am lucky. Or like, why? How did you find it? I don't know. I don't know why I was prompted that day to do a breast exam. Like, I hadn't done one probably in 6 months, a year. So, I mean, you just don't know. And
wow.
Then, I know, it's crazy.
What a good thing you did.
Right?
What has the feedback been like from your friends, family, community, coworkers, to this journey that you shared?
Oh my gosh, I am so lucky to have the support in my life that I do, and the people who came up like out of the woodworks, even who were donating, who brought meals by, who just, you know, stopped by to ask how I was feeling, or asked my husband how I was feeling. People sending cards and little gifts, or, you know, just, I mean, it's a journey that I wouldn't have been able to face by myself. And I really, really feel for those people who do, and who don't have the family support or the friend support, because it's like ups and downs, this huge roller coaster of a journey that's not over. But I mean, the big humps are, but you know, there's so much more to it. And I just feel so lucky that I've had this community of people in my life, and in my family's life. You know, I had friends who took my younger boys, you know, when I had to get chemotherapy, and just for the day so that my husband could be with me. You know, my mom came up for every chemo round so that she could help support our family and help cook meals so that my husband wasn't doing all of it, you know. I mean, there's so many things that people did, and still are doing, I feel like, just to be encouraging. My coworkers, the other day was the first day that I've been wearing surgical caps when I go to work, just because I didn't want people to see me, my patients, and be like, oh, she's a cancer patient. Like, I don't mind if they know, because I think you can still tell, but I didn't want that to be the only thing they were thinking of. You know, I wanted to just be able to do my job, be a nurse. But I was having so many hot flashes from the medication I take that I took my scrub cap off, and I was nervous. Yeah. Like, nobody tells you about how, at least for a woman, like how nervous you could feel about being bald or having like little spiky, you know, like kind of thing. And like, I mean, this was just this last weekend that I did this. Wow. And as soon as I did that, I didn't say anything to anybody, and I had almost all my coworkers were like, you look so cute, and I love your hair, and you rock it, and they just made me feel like so good. And even though like I feel and have that confidence in myself, like there's still those moments where you're like, I'm a 40-year-old woman and I'm bald right now. Like, that's not ideal. So, and it brings me to tears because those people probably don't even know how much it meant to me. Right. You know? Yeah. So.
But clearly it did. And that's got to be tough too. I mean, just living in being a woman in our society, you're taught your whole life, you have to maintain some sort of beauty standard. Yeah. And so when not only are you dealing with cancer, but you're also dealing with how do I maintain what I've tried to maintain my entire life. Right. And that's, I mean, kudos to you too, and to your coworkers for being so supportive. That's really awesome. Cool to hear.
They're awesome.
Boy, I'm blanking on my next question.
No, that's okay.
Oh, for people who are going through this journey and may go through this journey in the future, what advice would you have for them?
I mean, I feel like what helped me get through was taking it literally one day at a time, one treatment at a time. So it's like when I was getting surgery, that's what I could only focus on that. Like, okay, I'm getting surgery to have this lumpectomy. And then we're waiting for the biopsy results. And then chemo was the next step, and then radiation. And so I couldn't process all of it all at once because it was too much. And I still feel like I'm trying to process it now that it's kind of over. So all that to say, I guess I would tell somebody that's going through this that, there's an end at the end of the journey, and there's hope at the end of that you're going to get back to your normal life, your life where you have the energy and you have the hair and you have all of the things that you felt like kind of defined who you were before. And in the meantime, you're going to discover how strong you are. And I think other people will see how strong you are through how hard it is. And I hope for people that are going through that builds that resilience inside and that self-confidence that you can come out the other side and be like, man, like I kicked ass. Like I did. It was freaking hard. And I did it. And I'm not going to let it might drag me down, but I'm not going to let it keep me down. And for like women, people who have kids, my kids in a lot of ways are my motivation because I'm like, my littlest is 7. Like, I fully intend to see him graduate, see him go on to, get married or get whatever awesome job he's going to get. And like, I want to be there for all those things. And the thought of not is super scary and sad as a mom. But like, this gave me the opportunity to hopefully make it there. Yeah. Absolutely. And so chemo, radiation, hair loss, like some chemo burns, or radiation burns, it's all going to be worth it to see the fruition of raising my kids to adults and knowing them as adults,
Yeah, talk about something to live for.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
My last question is always, is there anything that you think the public should know that we didn't cover or I didn't ask about this issue?
Yeah. I mean, I think I talked about it a little bit, but it's that cancer rates in younger people is on the rise nationwide. And I even had talked to my oncologist and asked her, are they seeing this nationwide, and why? Why is it happening? Like, I don't have the risk factors for having cancer as a young person. I don't smoke. I'm not obese. Like, I'm active lifestyle. Like, what is happening? And she said that yes, cancer rates are on the rise in people under 40 or 50, and they don't know why. And so in the meantime, I mean, that's scary. It's scary for everyone. But I mean, what can you do to make a difference now in your life? Whether it's to prevent cancer, or cardiovascular disease, or diabetes, trying to live a healthy lifestyle, and eating good food, and being active, exercising, or whatever it is. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that I've been surprised by in this journey, is how many younger and younger people are getting diagnosed with breast cancer, with colon cancer, with leukemia, lymphoma. I mean, we don't know why, so it's probably something environmental, is my guess. I don't know, but what can we do to help prevent that if possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like my genetic testing was all negative, so I don't carry like the BRCA1 or 2 gene where they recommend you get mastectomy. Like, there's some women who have to get a full mastectomy or double mastectomy. I'm really fortunate I didn't. But for people who have the genetic predisposition, there's kind of a reason, or at least that you can be like, oh, well, I was predisposed to this. And then for people like me, who was like, no, all your genetic markers were fine, even though you have this history in your family. Okay, well, so it was just the luck of the draw then. Like, I don't know, but I'm going to do whatever I can to not get it again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good advice.